Transitions are a part of every child's journey, whether it's moving from early intervention to preschool, starting school, becoming a teenager, or moving to a new home, or thinking about adulthood. These changes are big and they can feel overwhelming. But here's the good news. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You just need a plan and the right support. In this video, we'll walk through what transition planning really means, why it matters, and how you can start preparing now for what's next. Whether your child is 3, 13, or 18, this lesson is about giving you the tools to support their future, step by step, in a way that makes sense for your family. When we talk about transition planning, many people think about the big one, transitioning to adulthood. And yes, that's part of it. But transitions happen throughout your child's life, and each one is an opportunity to build independence, confidence, and support. Let's walk through a few of the most common transitions families experience. One of the first ones is usually the transition from early intervention to preschool. This can be a big shift. In early intervention services often happen in your home with a team that feels familiar and personal. Moving to preschool might mean new staff, group settings, and different expectations. It's a great time to build school readiness skills like following a simple routine, transitioning between activities, or sitting for short periods during circle time. Another big transition is the transition from elementary school to middle school. As kids grow, so do expectations. Middle school often involves multiple teachers, more independence, and less one-on-one support. You may start noticing more social demands too. Things like making friends, managing time, and following a changing schedule. This is a good time to focus on communication, self-advocacy, and emotional regulation. Another major transition is moving to a new home or town. A change in environment, like moving to a new home or a new town, or even just a new bedroom, can be a major transition for a child. Everything may feel unfamiliar, and your child may need extra support to adjust to a new routine, new people, and new surroundings. Sometimes transitions happen within the family, like the birth of a new sibling, a sibling moving out, or the loss of a loved one. These changes can deeply affect your child, even if they don't have the words to express it. Maintaining predictable routines and offering extra support can make a big difference during emotional transitions like this. And finally, the transition from high school to adulthood. This is a big transition, and it often comes with questions like, will my child go to college? Can they work? Will they live independently or need support? It's okay if you don't have all the answers right now. What matters is starting the conversation and identifying what your child wants and needs to thrive. Every transition is different, and every child is different. The key is to start early, think ahead, and involve your child as much as possible. The more prepared you are, the smoother these transitions can be. No matter what your child's long-term goals are, whether it's supported employment, independent living, or continued education, there are steps you can take now to help them build the skills they'll need. That's where pre-vocational skills come in. These are the building blocks that help your child gain confidence, independence, and a sense of purpose. When we hear the term vocational skills, we often think about job training. But before we ever get there, kids need to develop pre-vocational skills, the foundational abilities that help them succeed in any setting, whether that's school, home, or one day even work. And the good news is you're probably already teaching some of these skills without even realizing it. Let's break down a few important pre-vocational skills and what they might look like at home. Whether it's brushing teeth or packing a lunch, being an adult requires you to complete tasks that involve completing a series of steps. At home, you can help by teaching routines like first put away your toys, then wash your hands, then come to the table. Practicing these sequences builds memory, independence, and task persistence. Starting and finishing tasks is a very important skill. This one's a big one. Many children struggle with task initiation. that is, getting started, and task completion. Helping your child begin an activity and stick with it until the end teaches focus and responsibility. Start small, setting the table, sorting laundry, or feeding the pet. In work and social settings, waiting and turn taking are crucial. Whether it's waiting in line or waiting to speak in a meeting, this skill takes time and practice. Simple games like board games or asking your child to wait for a few seconds before getting a preferred item help build this tolerance. Staying organized is another really important skill. Many jobs require keeping track of materials and tasks. At home, this might mean putting toys back in labeled bins or following a checklist to get ready in the morning. The goal isn't perfection, it's helping your child build systems that make their world more manageable. Believe it or not, accepting help and feedback is a skill. Whether at school or at work, learning how to accept support or correction is key. We can teach this by modeling calm, supportive feedback and praising your child when they respond well, even if they needed help or didn't get it right the first time. Remember, these skills don't develop overnight, but practicing them in everyday routines helps your child build the foundation they need for more complex responsibilities later on. And most importantly, it empowers them to be more independent, confident, and capable, no matter what their future holds. One of the most powerful tools your child can develop is the ability to speak up for themselves or to communicate their needs in whatever way works best for them. Self-advocacy doesn't always mean using words. It might look like using a communication device to say no, asking for help with a visual card, or simply walking away from something that's overwhelming. The goal is to give your child the skills and the confidence to express what they want, need, or prefer. You can start small by giving your child choices throughout the day. Do you want the red cup or the blue cup? Do you want to wear your rain boots or sneakers? Let them make decisions and respect those decisions when it's safe to do so. Most importantly, celebrate their efforts to advocate for themselves, even if it's messy or imperfect. The more we listen and respond, the more we show our children that their voice matters. Encourage your child to ask for breaks, say when something is too hard, or let you know when they need help. These are early forms of self-advocacy that will grow over time. If your child is non-speaking, work with your BCBA or speech therapist to make sure they have access to tools that allow them to communicate. Another part of self-advocacy is helping your child understand their own needs. This might involve teaching them to recognize when they're becoming overwhelmed, when they need sensory input, or when they're feeling frustrated. Over time, you can help them learn strategies to manage those feelings, like asking for a break, using headphones, or taking deep breaths. Planning for the future might feel overwhelming, especially when transitions bring big changes. But ABA gives us tools to break big goals into small, achievable steps. And that's how we build meaningful, lifelong skills. Start with what's meaningful for your child. Think about where your child is now and what skills would give them more independence. Maybe it's learning to pack a lunch, follow a daily schedule, or request help when they're unsure. These might sound small, but they are the foundation for bigger milestones, like holding a job, managing personal care, or advocating for themselves. Use a task analysis to break down more challenging tasks. Just like brushing teeth or getting dressed, larger life skills, like learning to shop independently or travel in the community, can be broken into steps. Work with your BCBA to build a task analysis for skills your child will need as they grow. Then practice one step at a time, using prompting and reinforcement to support success. Practice flexibility. Transition planning isn't just about skills, it's also about helping your child tolerate change. You can shape this by introducing small, planned changes to routines and reinforcing calm responses. For example, practice a schedule change by swapping 2 activities and praise your child for staying calm. Reinforce progress. Every small step forward matters. When your child tries something new, uses a new coping strategy, or participates in a planning conversation, reinforce that. Use natural reinforcers like praise, access to preferred activities, or other meaningful rewards. Plan with your BCBA. You don't need to map out your child's entire future right now. Instead, identify short-term transition goals that matter, like moving to a new school, building communication for self-advocacy, or practicing daily living skills at home. Your BCBA can help you select skills that are developmentally appropriate and tied to long-term independence. ABA strategies can make transitions smoother, whether we're talking about moving schools, learning new routines, or preparing for adult life. Shaping is one strategy that is great for increasing independence during daily routines. Shaping means teaching a skill gradually, starting with small steps and building toward the bigger goal. If your child can't make their own lunch yet, start by teaching them to put one item in the lunchbox. Once that's easy, add the next step. You don't have to wait until your child is older to start teaching independence. If you know your long-term goal is that they can get ready on their own or follow a daily schedule, shaping helps you build those skills slowly over time. Try using visuals to support your child in new environments. Transitions can be overwhelming because there's a lot of uncertainty. Using visual supports, like a schedule or checklist, or even photos of a new school or home, can help reduce anxiety and make new situations feel more predictable. Before your child starts in a new classroom, you might create a visual tour with photos of their new teacher, their cubby, or where they'll eat lunch. Before moving to a new home, share pictures of the kitchen, living room, and their new bedroom. Take time to help your child understand what the change will look like. These tools give your child a preview of what's coming, and that helps them feel more confident going in. Reinforce their communication about their preferences and needs. Communication is one of the most powerful tools your child can have, especially during transitions. ABA strategies can help teach your child to ask for help, say no respectfully, or express when something is too hard. These are skills we sometimes forget to teach directly, but they're essential for success in new settings. If your child is working toward more independence, they also need the ability to advocate for themselves. That starts with reinforcing every effort they make to communicate, whether it's through words, gestures, pictures, or a device. Practice skills across different settings, people, and materials to help your child become truly independent. It's one thing to teach a skill at home with mom or dad. It's another thing entirely to use that same skill at school, in the community, or with a new teacher. You want your child to use the skills they're learning in real life, not just during services or at home. So maybe you're working on following a morning routine. First, your child learns it to use it at home with a visual schedule. Then you practice parts of it at grandma's house or with a sibling helping. The goal is for your child to feel confident using the skill no matter where they are or who they're with, so that when a major transition comes up, they are more prepared to adapt. And finally, embed teaching skills into everyday life. Some of the best teaching doesn't happen during formal sessions. It happens while you're just living life. Cooking dinner, that's a great opportunity to work on measuring, sequencing, and safety. If you're planning a trip to the park, that's a natural time to talk about packing a bag, following directions, or asking for help if something goes wrong. Your child doesn't need a worksheet to learn the skills that will help them manage the big transitions in life. They need real experiences, and ABA can help you teach through those everyday moments. Every one of these strategies can support your child through transitions, big or small. And when these strategies are consistent, compassionate, and built around your child's strengths, they can lead to lasting progress that carries over into every new phase of life.